So, this is Whack-A-Mole number 110, CD edition, cinematic CinemaScope edition. Wide screen for the CD Whack-A-Mole. This is a follow-up to the Mise en Scène Whack-A-Mole 109. And this is by request. I got a request for a CD Whack-A-Mole. I've done CD Whack-A-Moles, but it's been a while. And the only difference is I pull random compact discs rather than LPs, and I do 10. Since they're pint size compared to an LP that I usually do 5. Actually, I ended up doing 7 last time. I miscounted. I can't even friggin' count 5. This again is in black and white because it's cinematic, sort of artsy-fartsy. Black and white does a certain connotation of old vintage cinema, film noir, and I just like black and white. So I know someone complained that, when I do black and white, you don't see the album covers as well. Give me a break. Google the album covers, see them in color. This is my channel. I'm doing black and white, but enjoy it. The music you heard here, starting out, is a Bizet. Come on, Michael Poetry on Vinyl. If you're watching, pronounce that for me, and pronounce the piece. Suites 1 and 2. Okay, 10. I'm gonna do 5 and then 5 more. Three. 4. 'The first 5 in Whack-A-Mole number 110 CD edition. Gene Clark, Flying High, A&M Records comp. This is unavailable tracks and some tracks of Ex-Birdman. This is very much like the Roadmaster album that came out on vinyl only in out of Holland, I believe, right? This is actually a great collection. It's a 2 CD collection. So it has sort of Bird's parts and solo work he's working on around the time of the 1973-74 Birds reunion. Great comp. Obviously, Gene Clark, a member of the Byrds on their first 2 albums, 2.5 albums actually. He co-wrote 8 Miles High, one of the greatest psychedelic, possibly the first psychedelic Byrds song. Very influenced also by John Coltrane and sort of Indian ragas. Fantastic comp. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, She's the One. I didn't like this album. I'm not a big fan of, what's his name? The director, Edward Burns, that much. I know people like him, but did the Something Brothers album. But this was unavailable for a while on vinyl until the box set was issued of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. She's the One. Actually, it's a great soundtrack. I would say the soundtrack is better than the movie. Oh, this is a fun one. Marshall Crenshaw, his debut on Warner Brothers Records, one of the great power pop albums. This was on Ryko disc, I believe. Is it Ryko? No, it's a Razor and Tie. And look at this cover. I remember this on CD, very unique. Not a full size, I mean, very pop art, kind of origami pop art. Now, Marshall Crenshaw kind of got his sea legs, I guess, or his musical legs together because he was in the Broadway version of Beatlemania in the late 70s, 80s, I believe, early 80s. Marshall Crenshaw, power pop, made a bunch of great records. This is a fun record too, and this is called Miracles miracle of science. We all need to believe in science. What's great about it is more people are getting vaccinated. The COVID thing is going down. So it's been proven that the people that are dying are the people who haven't been vaccinated, with a couple of rare exceptions. But science finally conquers. And Marshall Crenshaw, I could just do this for hours. The Kinks, my top 3 favorite bands, and this is, of course, Misfits. Their second album on Arista Records, when Clive Davis said, stop all this like theatrical crap and make some great records again. I do like the RCA theatrical records, Soap Opera and Schoolboys in Disgrace and Preservation Act, especially Volume 1, but Misfits, incredible record. Side 1 of the vinyl version of this is really, really good. This has... this is the CD that has some bonus tracks. It has a single Father Christmas and a single edit of Rock and Roll Fantasy. Black Messiah, single edit also. But Misfits, Black Messiah, Rock and Roll Fantasy, fantastic tracks on this record. This and Sleepwalker, the back-to-back first 2 records on Arista, are just wonderful, wonderful records by the Kinks, the later period. And this is, I'm trying to think, somebody gave me this or someone I know. This is, Mazzy is stumped here in a way. This is Knights of the New Crusade on compact discs. So, compact disc. I'm trying to see who, someone gave me this who's in this band. God Almighty Made Rock and Roll. This is sort of a religious, proggy concept thing. I don't believe it's real. I think it's a little bit of a riff on this kind of religion, Sympathy for Jesus, My Way or the Highway, The Whore of Babylon, Ain't No Monkeys in My Family Tree, The Knights of the New Crusade, Jerusalem, Dangers of Dating, You've Got to Move. God, I don't... Okay, tell me about this, because I don't remember where I got this CD. Let me see. I'm thinking that somebody I know is in it. It's almost like this Monty Python and the Holy Grail parody religious thing. 2004. I have to read this later. I don't... Okay, I'm not... Okay, I don't remember. Corinthians and whatever, da-da-da. I don't know. If somebody knows about this, tell me, because I have this in my collection, which means I either bought it, which I didn't, or someone gave it to me who knows me. Interesting. Mazzy's stumped on this Whack-A-Mole number 110. So let's pick 5 more and see what happens. One. 2. 3. 4. 5. Okay, there's no cover here, but this is because this is from a box set, didn't have covers, I believe. Paul Simon, 1964 to 1993, box set that kind of combined some of the best and deep cuts of Paul Simon, Simon & Garfunkel, and solo years up through 1993. This is one of the early ones. This goes from The Leaves That Are Green and Sounds of Silence up to American Tune, Duncan, and Congratulations from his solo record. So, I mean, one of the great American songwriters. I always said the great American songwriters from the 60s, 70s, and beyond are American songwriters, aside, going way past the songbook stuff of Cole Porter and the Gershwins and that, Paul Simon, Bob Dylan, Randy Newman, Warren Zevon, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, Sam Cooke, probably. That's early. Well, that's in the 60s too, early 60s. But, Paul Simon, one of the amazing songwriters. I think I would give the nod to Randy Newman, but Paul Simon's a great songwriter. Steely Dan's Two Against Nature. Not really going deep today, right? Maybe that Crusades album is pretty deep, but this is their sort of comeback studio album after, 20-something years. And they did two back-to-back studio albums. This actually just came out of Record Store Day on vinyl. It's a fantastic record. And, it doesn't have the same thing, the same great sort of songwriting feel as their, legendary 70s into the 80s records. But it's still a good record, a little more funky, jazzy than they've been doing in a while. But Two Against Nature, great record. And then they actually started touring a little bit after that, which they had never really done very much since the very beginning of their career. They became a touring band and playing whole albums of theirs on tour. And I did see one of the tours where they did one of their records. This is interesting. This is McGuinn's Folk Den Volume 3. Big fan of the Byrds, which I mentioned earlier. And since we did Gene Clark, there's a series of records that Roger McGuinn put out, Folk Den series. It's very folky, traditional songs that the Byrds would do in some cases early on, but made them folk rock. But these are sort of traditional songs. I purchased these directly from McGuinn at the time on the site in the 90s, I believe. And there's several volumes and a box set of this stuff. And it's folky. He's a great banjo player as well. It's a great guitar player, a great picker. Roger McGuinn, the Folk Den series. This is volume 3. Roger McGuinn. Going a little southern rock here. Ooh, that smell. Freebird, baby. This is all-time greatest hits, Lynyrd Skynyrd. What can I say about them? Never saw them live, of course. I think Al Kooper produced their first albums, I believe. Is that right? I always get for some reason I confuse Al Kooper with, who produced these? I think it was Al Kooper, right? Anyway. Freebird, That Smell, Sweet Home Alabama, Saturday Night Special, Swamp Music, Call Me the Breeze, great song. One of the great covers of the song written by J.J. Cale. J.J. Cale, obviously, a favorite of mine, who made more money on Eric Clapton covers of After Midnight and Cocaine, and After the Breeze was done by several artists as well. But there we go. And lastly, a solo record, Under the Skin by Lindsey Buckingham, of course, kind of revitalized in 1975 with Stevie Nicks. Fleetwood Mac basically made them the huge band they were, even though I prefer the Peter Green years, that middle period. I mean, you can't deny what Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham did for Fleetwood Mac. Made them more of a California-centric band rather than a British blues band. Made great friggin' records with their the debut in 75 with them. Self-titled album, obviously Rumors. If anyone doesn't have a copy of Rumors, they're living under a rock. And Tusk, my favorite of those records. His solo records are really good, really interesting. You hear this guitar style he did in Fleetwood Mac, but it seems more apparent on a solo record where he seems to play everything 3 times as fast than normal guitar players should. Even just in a slow song, his picking style and is very fast. And I like his records. There's never songs that stand out for me in a pop sensibility, but they're really good. Under the Skin, and I hate to say this, I can't distinguish between his solo records very much, but I do like them when I put them on, and they're really well recorded. So Lindsey Buckingham. So that's all you get. This is the cinematic widescreen CinemaScope edition of Whack-A-Mole number 110, where I pick from the widescreen format again in cinema style. So thanks for watching. Mazzy loves you. Finn.